Erica here, and I'm back with kind of another Reading Rambles video today for Vlogmas. Today I kind of wanted to check in and talk about the current state of my TBR and my current feelings about it. About 6 months ago, maybe a little bit more than that, I did a video with all of the books on my TBR that I hope to read by the end of the year. I have not been very successful in that at all. And you know, at the end of 2015, I said that I was going to cut back on book buying and accumulating and try to get my TBR down to a manageable size, which I have also not done at all. So let's talk about where I'm at right now. At the beginning of 2016, at the beginning of this year, I believe I had about 85 or 86 books on my physical TBR, and I really wanted to cut that back to a more manageable 30 or 35. I did not do that. Right now, as it currently stands, and I keep a spreadsheet with all of my TBR books, be they physical, audio, ebooks, which a lot of those are ARCs. So I have all of these cataloged because I am an insane person when it comes to my book spreadsheets. So I'm sitting at about 89 right now, give or take, which isn't terrible. It didn't like explode. I didn't double the size of my TBR in 2015. It seems to me like pretty much I was accumulating at the same rate that I was reading, so it was kind of a one in, one out process, which is interesting because I didn't do that consciously at all. But my feelings about my TBR have changed a little bit, and my opinions about whether or not I want to have unread books or don't have changed a lot. And at this point in my life, honestly, the unread books don't bother me anymore. I'm pretty good about culling them every few months or so. I do get rid of things that I've just decided I don't want to read anymore. So I do that quite frequently. And in general, I get anxious when I don't have a large selection of books to choose from. And so when I finish a book, especially now that I'm not making kind of monthly TBRs, so I never really know what I'm going to read next. So when I finish a book, I like to be able to kind of sit down in front of my TBR shelf and be like, oh, look at all these wonderful books I have, and touch them and feel them. And this is like a 3-hour process where I'm picking out the next book I want to read. I could have read an entire book in this amount of time, but I kind of really relish the ceremony of it. And I really enjoy kind of the feeling that even if I finish a book at 4 o'clock in the morning and want to start a new one right away, which happens, I have so many options at my fingertips, so I don't need to worry about having to start a new book that I might not be that interested in or enjoy. So that's kind of where I'm at now. That being said, though, I do feel like my purchasing habits have changed a little bit in 2016, whereas I don't jump on kind of the hype bandwagons as fast as I might have used to. So when new books come out and people are talking about them and they're getting a lot of acclaim, I don't necessarily automatically go out and buy it without thinking about whether or not this is actually something I'm going to be interested in. And B, I've kind of made an effort to branch out and look into places like independent publishers, as well as the independent bookstores that I already frequent, to find new books that I might not have heard of before and that might not be being talked about. A lot of this is not because I want to like be cool and hipster, but it's because when a book is talked about a lot, especially on BookTube, because I watch a lot of BookTube and I watch a lot of different BookTubers, but when a book is talked about a lot, I feel almost less of a need to read it. It's a weird thing that happens with me where then I feel like I should have read it already and I haven't read it and everyone else has read it and why haven't I read it? And then I finally get to it and I'm not that into it anymore because I've just heard about it so much. So that's a personal thing that I have. But because of that, I've kind of been, you know, pushing myself to pick up things that might be a little outside of my comfort zone and might not be things that everyone else is reading. And again, I think it's great that we all, a lot of the times on BookTube, we're reading kind of similar books, or, you know, people get interested in the same books at the same time because it creates this amazing community where we can discuss these books. And I love that, and I'm not judging that at all. I want to make that very clear. This is a personal thing that I have, probably relating to the intense anxiety I feel about everything in my life. So, just to be clear about that. In years past, I've done this thing where if I purchased a book the previous year and then didn't read it the next year, I would get rid of it at the end of the next year. Does that make sense? So, like, at the end of 2015, Any book that I had purchased in 2014 and had not read by the end of 2015, I got rid of. Basically, that just helped me keep books from sitting on my TBR shelf for too long and getting to a point where I kind of resented them. So I'm not going to do that this year. Like I said, I do kind of go through and cull regularly. And I'm not saying that I go through and like throw out 12 books every 3 months. I'll take like 1 or 2 off the shelves that I may no longer have interest in, and I generally donate those when that happens. So I'm sorry, my cats like cannot contain themselves today. So those are all the feelings about my TBR, and what are your plans looking like for your TBR going into 2017? I feel like people's feelings about their TBR are such an individual thing, and that there's no right way or wrong way to purchase, own, or consume books. So I'm very interested to hear what all of you have to say on this topic. And that being said, I hope you're having a lovely day. Happy Vlogmas. I'll be back tomorrow.